Hi everybody, my name is Jennifer Stern-Hosman and I'm a pattern designer and instructor here at patternreview.com. What I'd like to do today is show you how to mark and cut out a bust dart. You can see in front of me that I have my shirt pattern already cut out and ready to go, and I'm just going to give you a way to easily mark it and then sew it. The first thing that I want to mention is I laid my fabric out right sides together so that the wrong side of the fabric is laying against my pattern. That will allow me to just mark the side of the fabric that's against the pattern instead of flipping pieces around. To prepare my pattern for this technique, I've made a hole in the tip of the dart through my pattern, and you can just poke it with a pencil or a pen, or if you have a small eyelet cutter, anything where you can just make a small hole. And that's going to allow me to take a pin and pierce it through the paper, and when I lift the paper off, the pin will still be there. That's going to mark the tip of my dart. And then the other thing I want to do before I remove my pattern is I want to take some sort of marking tool. I'm going to use a wash away marker in this case. You can use a pencil, you can use chalk, and I'm going to mark the ends of my dart legs. All right, so basically I'm not even worried about testing to see if this marker washes out because I'm going to mark within the seam allowance here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark that dart leg right there and this dart leg right here. So now that I've got those 3 points marked, I can remove the paper pattern. And I'm just going to put my finger on the pin like this and make sure I push it through. Okay. And you can see I've got this very clearly marked dart. The last thing I have to do is actually mark the dart legs. So I'm just going to use a ruler and a pencil now, and I'm just going to draw a light line across my fabric. I'm choosing the pencil because I know it's not going to show through to the right side, and I'm not going to have to test to see if my wash away marker truly erases. I'm literally going to just draw a very light line from the mark at the side seam to where my pin is. And then I'm going to mark the opposite dart leg. There's my second dart leg. And now I've got the pin holding the tip of the dart through both layers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my fabric right here. And I'm just going to flip it over. Okay. And I'm going to transfer the marks from one edge to the other. So I'm going to peek over to where it is. And I'm just going to literally transfer that mark to the opposite side, making sure it's matching. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. All right, so now I've marked both of my darts. An easy way to tell if you're going to sew on the dart leg accurately is to pin the dart in a way where the pin is aligning with both lines. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my dart in half. Okay, and I can see from my side that I'm lining up those lines, those little marks, see? All right, so I know that that's right, and then I'm going to just finger press until I get to the tip of my dart, which is right there. All right, so after I've done that, I'm going to take a pin and I'm going to pin through this line, this dart leg, and I'm going to peek in the back and make sure that it's lining up with the dart leg in the back as well. And I'm just going to pin that like that. So now I've got it matching there, and I've got it matching there. All right, when I put in my second pin, I'm actually going to pin right at the tip of the dart. So I've got one right near the side seam. Now I'm going to do one down here at the tip of my dart because it's easier to get the dart legs to match because they're very close to the fold by the tip of the dart. See that? So I'm just going to go ahead and put a pin in like that. And you can see that that's lining up with the line, the dart leg in the back as well. Then, now that I've got the top and the bottom of the dart anchored, I can go ahead and put a third pin in the middle. And it's very likely that it will match up with no effort, which see that it does. All right, so now I've pinned my dart with no fuss and muss. We're going to go to the sewing machine. Okay, I've threaded my machine with a dark color thread so you can see the stitching. I'm going to put my fabric under the needle under the presser foot so I'm at the side seam. And once I turn the hand wheel towards me to get the needle into the fabric, I'm going to take out my first pin. I'm going to sew forward a couple stitches, and then I'm going to back tack, and then I'm going to sew along the line. Now for the majority of this dart, I'm setting my stitch length at a 3.0. You don't need a super short stitch length when you're sewing darts until we get to the tip. And I'm just going to follow the line I drew. Taking the pins out as I'm getting to them. Now one secret to a great shaped dart is that you really gradually veer off the fabric. So as you're getting to the base of your dart, you want to make sure that you're just smoothly approaching that tip of that dart and you're not making any curves or crooked sewing that actually move yourself away from the edge, because that's where it's going to be very noticeable. So you do want to take your time at the tip of the dart to be smooth and gradual. If you're having trouble seeing where the tip of the dart is, like I am right now because I drew so lightly with my pencil, I'm just going to lift my presser foot and turn it to the side so I can reacquaint myself with the line, which the tip is right here. And I'm just going to put a pin in like this. And you can mark it that way before you even start sewing if you'd like. All right, so now I know that that's my goal of where I want to be off the fabric. So I'm going to cruise in really gradually. And when I get within a 1/4 inch of my tip of my dart, I'm going to make my stitch length shorter, slightly under 2 for a stitch length. And what that's going to do is it's going to make these tiny little stitches that sort of lock together, because it's going to eliminate the need for me to have to back tack. Back tacking to secure the end of your dart is really risky, because if your back tack isn't sitting exactly on top of each other, you'll end up with a little pucker or bubble. Plus it adds bulk to the tip of your dart, which makes it a little more obvious. So I'm not going to be back tacking. I'm just going to stitch off the edge of the fabric using a smaller stitch length. And I'm being very gradual. Okay, I've made it off the edge of my fabric. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my needle by turning the hand wheel towards me. I'm going to pull out some tails so that I can now just tie a loose knot. And if I open this up, you can see that it's a very nice end to the dart. See? All right, so that's how you mark and sew a bust dart. For more great information about darts on patternreview.com, just click on the little eye in the upper right-hand corner of your screen for links to more fun information. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.